guys, CreeperCrafter979 here, and today I want to show you how to make shy circles, where circles will grow larger, but then when they touch each other or the side of the screen, they shrink. To start, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code. However, you can use other software like JSBin on the web. So, what you first want to do is I'm going to create a new file. Make sure it's an HTML file, and let's get started. Now, this tutorial assumes that you know a little bit about JavaScript and HTML, but not too much. It is pretty much my first tutorial. I don't know much, but first you want to start with your HTML tags, and then you want your /HTML. And this will just open up the HTML. Now inside this, you want your body tags. So again, body, and then /body. And then we're going to be drawing on a canvas, which is basically just a little place on the screen where you can draw on. So we're going to write in canvas, and then inside of the tags, we're going to write ID equals, and then 2 quotes. And this will allow us to access JavaScript later. So we're going to type in canvas1. I'm also going to specify a width and a height, but you don't really need to. Then, to actually get into JavaScript, you want to type in script in tags. And don't forget your /script. Now, we need to get our canvas. We're going to do this by writing can, and this is a variable, so var can equals document.getElementById, and then 2 parentheses and in quotes the name of the ID of our canvas, so canvas1, and a semicolon goes on the end. And now we have our canvas. Now we want to get the context inside, so I'm going to write var ctx equal to can.getContext, and again 2 parentheses, and then in quotes in those parentheses 2d with a lowercase d. You can see that there's nothing here, but if we go ahead and hit inspect, we can, with that canvas highlighted, we can indeed see that there's a canvas there. So, let's actually make it black. To do this, we'll fill it with a rectangle. So, we want to do ctx.fillRect with an uppercase R, and we want to specify the top left corner and the bottom right corner. So, and canvases are done from this, and canvases draw from this is 0, 0, and this would be the width and height. So we want to type in 0, 0, and then we want to get the width of the canvas, so can.width and can.height. And now we have a black canvas. Looking at this, you can see a few things. For one, it's not the size of the whole screen, and 2, there's this border around it. Looking down here, you can see what's happening. So if we select the body right here, and going down here, you can see that this is the stuff in the center, the juicy stuff that we want. However, you can see that there's also some other stuff, like padding, border, and margin. And if you go over margin, you can see that it's outlined on the edge of the screen. It also says that it's 8 pixels. So, let's remove that. So, back in our code, where we have the body tag, we want to open it up a bit and type in style equals, 2 quotes. And we're just going to override the margin. So, margin colon 0px for 0 pixels. And now you can see that that border is gone. We want it to fill the entire screen though. So, before we fill the rect, because changing the size of it clears it, we're going to write can.width equals inner width, and can.height equals inner height. The inner width and height is basically just this juicy stuff in here. And if you select it, you can see it's the whole screen. So if we refresh the page, voila, we have a big canvas. Now I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to create a function, an update function that will be called every 20 milliseconds. That seems to be a good time. So I'm going to write function update. I'm going to give it 2 parentheses, and then in curly brackets, we want to do that same stuff as we did before. So first, can.width equals inner width, can.height equals inner height, and then ctx.fill ret 00 can.width can.height. And now you'll see that it's not doing anything because we still need to call update. If we just go into the console though on inspection and just call update manually, you can see that that works. We want to call it in our code though, so we're going to create an interval. So we're going to say var inter. That way we can change it later. We're going to set it to set interval, and then in those parentheses you can do quotes update, like you're calling the function, and then after that comma 20. Specify every 20 milliseconds. Now let's see that it's black. So now we actually want to specify what a circle is. To do this, we're going to make a function. So we're going to write function circle, and it's going to be given an x and a y as parameters. Now we're going to give this circle a few different things. So we're going to say this for this circle, and we're going to specify its x is going to be our x parameter, and this dot y is going to be our y parameter. We also want to give it a radius. However, because we know it's going to be starting at 1, we don't need to put it in the parameters, so this dot r is equal to 1. Now, what we want to do is we also want to specify a few functions for the circle. So if this dot draw equals function, and this function, when it's called, will just draw the circle. So we are going to say ctx.begin path, ctx.arc. We're going to give it this dot x, this dot y, and this dot radius, and then to make it a full circle, 0 math.pi times 2, and then ctx.close path, and then ctx.fill. So now we can draw this circle. Now I'm going to go down here into update, and we want the background to be black. Now you can actually ignore this if you want it to be black, but I like mine black. So we're going to do ctx.fillStyle equals, and then I'm going to give it the hex value for black. So $0000000. And then after that, we're going to set it to the circle color. So ctx.fillStyle equals hex f for white. Now, what we want to do is, you'll see if we go over, it hasn't done anything. Well, at least we're not getting any errors. So what we want to do is we want an array of circles. So var sirs equals to brackets. And an array is basically just a big list of variables. So what we're going to do is down in the update function, we want to go through all these circles and basically run them or draw them. So we're going to make a for loop. I'm going to say for var I equals 0, semicolon, I is less than sirs.length, semicolon, I plus plus. And this will basically just go through all these circles. Now, we want to go through circles. Now, we want to do circles, sirs index I, so 2 brackets and then I in the center, dot draw, and then 2 parentheses. And this will draw that circle. Now, first this won't do anything because we actually need to specify a circle. So I'm going to go sirs.push a new circle of, how about 250, 250. And now you can see that there's a tiny little white dot right there because its radius is only 1. So let's go back here, and we want it to get bigger. So in the circle function, we want to write this dot update equals function, just like we did for the draw, and we're just gonna simply write this dot r plus plus. And this will just add 1, but if you want a bit more control, you can do plus equals 1. And I found that 1 is too fast, so I'm going to write 0.5. Now, if we resume, you'll notice that it's still just doing the same thing, because we're not calling update. Now, we could also just call it right here in update, but I want to wrap it into one neat bundle of run. I'm going to write this dot run equals function, and I'm going to call this dot update and then this dot draw. Make sure that's function, not function. So then back in update, instead of drawing it, I'm going to run it. And now you'll see that when I put in a new circle, it's growing. Now we want it so that we can actually place in these circles ourselves. So we're going to need the mouse's position. So we're going to create a mouse variable. So var mouse equals, we're going to open up 2 curly brackets to give it an x position. So x colon 0, comma, y colon 0, and at the end put a semicolon. And this basically just gives, and if we go into the console and specify it, this gives a variable with an x and a y. So now we want to actually update this. So we're going to override a document function. So document.onMouseMove equals function. So we're going to want a few things. So mouse.x is equal to event.clientX with an uppercase x. We want to do the same thing for the y. Now if we also log it to the console, so console.log mouse, you can see that we're indeed getting numbers, or the mouse's position on the side. I'm going to get that out though. So now we want to override another function, document.onMouseDown. We're going to again set this to a function, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a circle to the circles array. So you can say sirs index sirs.length equals new circle. We're going to give it mouse.x and a mouse.y. There's a better way to do this though, which is instead of doing circles index circles.length, Push, which will just add an element to the end of the array. I'm going to say circles.push new circle with mouse.x and mouse.y. Now we'll see that we can place circles and they get bigger. So next we want them to actually shrink, because currently whenever they touch something they just keep getting bigger. So first let's do the edge of the screen. I'm going to do this in the update function. So what we want to do is if this.x is less than this.r, and this basically says that if, and what we're doing here is this.radius could be this large, hold on. So this.r could be this large, and this.x could be here, and it's basically saying that, like, we're basically translating it to the edge. So it's on the edge. So I'm going to comment this out, and we're just going to say this.r is equal to 1 if this happens. And you'll notice that now, when it hits the edge, it shrinks. We want to do it for the other edges though, because it just keeps on going. So we're going to write, if this.x is less than this.r, or doing the two vertical lines, this.x is bigger than can.width minus this.r. And this is basically just saying if it's more than it, and this is detecting this side. And then we want to do the top and bottom. So we're going to write in a few more. Or this.y is less than this.r. Or this.y is greater than can.height minus this.r. And as you can see, it's detecting all the edges now. But we want it to go against other circles as well. So we're going to want a for loop to go through all these circles. So for var I equals 0, I is less than sirs.length I plus plus, and again this will go through all the circles. However, because it's going through all the circles, it will also go over itself. And we don't want it colliding with itself, because that's just not right. So we're only going to continue if sirs index I does not equal this. So then inside here, what do we want to do? So we want to find the distance between the circle we're looking at and this current circle. So I'm going to define var distance equals, and I'm going to use Pythagorean's theorem here. So we want to do math.pow sirs index I dot x minus this dot x to the power of 2 plus math.pow sirs index I dot y minus this dot y, comma 2, and we want to get the, and then finally we want to square root all of this, so math.sqrt, wrapping everything else in parentheses. So this will give us the distance. So how is this helpful? Well, we can say that as soon as the distance is less than the two radiuses combined, then they're overlapping. I'm going to say if distance is less than this dot r plus the other plus sirs dot source index I.r, then we're going to say that source index I.r equals 0, resetting that size. This .r equals 1 as well. And then because we have no reason to continue in that for loop, we're going to write in break, cutting us out of that for loop. And now you'll see that when the circles reach the sides or they touch each other, they will reset. And this is pretty good. However, it's kind of bland with it only being black and white. So let's fix that. We're going to create a function that will get a random color. So function get random color, and this will just return a random color. How do we do this? Using RGB. Now RGB has 3 different color slots, red, green, and blue, and they go from 0 to 255. So what we can do is we can return, and also we normally specify an RGB in strings when we're finding. So we normally specify RGB in strings in when we're setting the fill style or stroke style for canvases, just like we do for hex codes. We're going to write RGB and then in parentheses 255, 255, 255, and this will just give us white. So let's break this apart. We're going to instead return RGB open parenthesis plus math.random times 255. And then we're going to add a comma space plus math.random times 255 plus comma space plus math.random times 255 plus a closing parenthesis. And this will give us a random color. Now, what we want to do is we don't need to manually set it to white anymore, so we can remove that from update. And instead, before we draw it, we're going to go ctx.fill_style equals get random color. But there was a problem with this, which is going to become pretty obvious. It's perfect for making seizures. We don't want that, so let's fix this. We want to give each circle a fixed color, so we're going to write this.color equals get random color. And this will give each circle a random color. And then instead of setting the fill style to get random color, we're going to set it to this.color. And now you can see that it's giving us random colors, and we now have completed shy circles. Yay! Hope you enjoyed, guys.